Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another SLA video. All right, guys, we got ourselves the checklist that I promised you, right? Remember I said that I was going to put together a checklist that is going to be covering all of the things you need to do before hard mode YOGUMUNT comes out, Yogerberry. We're going to cover that today. There's actually a lot to go through, and I have some speculations about the power. We're going to probably need about 1.9 million to 2 million total in order to get the job done. Where most of you guys are going to struggle, including my free-to-play account, is going to be getting through the hunter phase. That's always going to be the hardest part for the most folks that are playing this game. And I want to talk about all the ways you can gain yourself power to get ready to do that. So without further ado, guys, let's get into it. Now, you guys can see here we are in the game. My video capture device is obviously off. Here I am. Hi, what's going on, guys? So we are in. This is what you want to do, guys. There's a lot here to focus on. And now, before I even start doing this, I want to remind you guys a couple things. Number one, in the month of June, now we're not sure if this is going to be as soon as Leonard drops or not, but I will mention it. We have a couple things coming your way. Number one, we have ourselves 3 more slots for each gem. So that's going to be another way to gain power. Number two, we have a brand new Shadow coming out, which is going to give you guys a lot more power with Shadow Army, Shadow skills, if you can get them to General, of course, and of course, unlocking the Shadow just in general. So that's more power right there. Plus, not to mention, by then, you should have yourself some remnants as well, too. But I want to go through every single checklist and kind of cover what you need to do to prepare yourself for the upcoming battle for hard mode YOGUMUNT, and if you are actually ready. This is going to give you guys a baseline check list essentially to go through to see if you're actually ready to do this. Now, before I continue on, I want to remind everybody, of course, of the content creator program that's going on. And this is important because, guys, this is a great way to get yourself some free codes. We have 3 active codes currently going on and more to come your way. So if you are a supporter, hold tight, more are coming. If you're not a supporter, click that support button, get yourself 3 active codes. I want to say a big shout out to my top 10, J-Still, Ren, Connor, DG, J-Still back on top, 175 T-Pro Bond, 144 Sod, 364. I want to say thank you guys for everybody from the top number 1 all the way up to the top 8,693. You guys make this channel what it is, and the support ranking means the world to me. All right, guys, let's go back into this and talk a little bit about how to prepare yourself. So number 1, I mentioned this already, shadows, guys. Don't be stingy. All right, this is going to be important. Don't be stingy. Here's my free-to-play account. I'm only doing my free-to-play because I think it's more relatable. But your shadows, you should be pushing to unlock all shadows. A lot of people don't do this because they're focusing on one shadow only. Get your shadows all unlocked, guys, as soon as you possibly can, and get yourself some power through that. Now, when you unlock your shadow, what it does essentially is it gives you guys more army, and this is how you gain more power, right through this. Now, another thing you need to do as well, too, when you get your shadows up to general is unlock their weapons. Every single time you do a weapon unlock, it gives you 3,000 plus power every single time, right? And then when you do that, also push their skills, guys. Everyone's skills should be equalized across the board. Don't be stingy and do one at a time. Do all of them. And I mean that. So you guys can see eventually I'm going to get to the point where it's going to start costing me extra skills. It's worth it because every single skill will give you guys some extra power that you will need in order to actually push your combat power through the roof. So shadows, guys, super important. Again, do not be stingy on this. The material is worth spending. It's absolutely worth spending and unlocking and leveling shadows you may never use, just again to push your shadow army to get yourself more power through it. Remember, at the end of the day, most players are not fighting the boss. They're fighting against the combat power in the game, and that's what keeps everybody down from finishing a lot of the harder modes. So guys, do this. This is important. Focus on all your shadows. Unlock all of them. Push them up as far as you can. I know a new one's coming, so save a little bit for that. But at the end of the day, this needs to be up there. Okay? It needs to be up there. Number two, your armory. Do not forget your armory. Armory should be leveled up. Okay? You should have 3 pages worth. Do not use essence stones here. The 3rd page, do not use essence stones. This is where you actually want to use your marks of times. This gets way too costly. Do not skip these unless you're a whale. Even whales, I think it's not worth it. But your armory should be about 200k-ish at this point to stand a chance against that. So your armory needs to be leveled up, guys. Level 7s minimum to 5 to 7s minimum, I should say. Sorry. You guys can see a couple of them are level 5s for me, and I have to push them even further. But it does cost a lot for the armory, so don't be too hard bend on this one. The shadows are way more important. You guys can see shadow gives 550, armory gives 201. So armory is still important, but it's not as important as shadow. So get that up there ASAP. Next up, cores. Now, If you have not been working on your cores, you're going to fall behind. Cores are super important. You should be getting to 15s at this point. If not 15s, you're not going to bother doing hard mode YOGUMUNT. But if you are pushing 15s, try to focus on the ones that are actually going to help you stat-wise, plus the ones that actually work well with your character. So for example, I'm going to be using the water team. My water team, Cha, for example, is going to want to do a lot of core attacks. So I want to get Eye of the Watcher. If you have not seen which cores to go for, I have a video covering all cores. But right now, everyone's focus should be getting them to 15 and maximizing the main stat. That's the important part. Remember, for all hunters, additional flat stats matter more than percentages. So you want to focus on getting yourself additional flat stats. See, this was a mistake on my end, not because I needed to, but I had no choice, right? This one, on the other hand, was a good one. So this one here is going to be pushed over to level 15 max. So this is what you need. You need to push these guys as much as you can. Now, one quick tip, if you're looking for EXP for your cores, the best place to do this is hard mode Deimos, not YOGUMUNT, okay? But speaking of YOGUMUNT, remember this. Speaking of YOGUMUNT, YOGUMUNT will give you guys remnant power abilities, which will also push your total power as well. So remember, Baron and YOGUMUNT together will be giving you the total increase of power. So if you are looking for the max and your Baron is almost there, push YOGUMUNT as well and you'll get yourself more power. So I have 62,000. I'm going to do more YOGUMUNT here to push him further. And remember, he does actually do a little bit more damage in his own workshop. You guys can see he does 500% more damage in the distorted sanctuary. Plus, not to mention, he does support mages, fighters, and rangers, which essentially is the water team. Okay, so make sure you do that, guys. That's an important one. Don't skimp out on that, right? So you guys can see Cha she's a ranger, right? And that's one of the supports. You guys can see the ranger class right there. You guys can see that we have a fighter in Cha right there. And then the only one that's missing out here is the support. Unfortunately, she's not a mage, Maylin, but the buffs on her aren't as important, okay? So that's very important, guys. Cores and Remnant is another place you absolutely want to focus on. Next up, this is critical because this is going to give you about 3.7 to 3K to about 4K increase in all of your power, but your artifacts being pushed to level 100. If you're not going in with level 100 artifacts, you're doing yourself a pretty big disservice. Now, if I were to look at all of my power, you guys can see 8 set artifacts, even if you lose a little bit of stats, will push your power by 12K or less, or more, I should say. So you see 10K here, 10K there. So just by doing that, even if the artifacts aren't as good, to compete with the combat power, sometimes you may have to do this, right? So it's very important, guys, to remember that pushing 8-piece sets are going to give you more power than pushing 4-piece sets, all right? But if you can afford the 4-piece sets and they're better options for you than the 8-piece, then go with the 4-piece. But again, in terms of pushing just power, just raw power, sometimes it is better off, guys, giving yourself what you need in the artifact department, but make sure everything is level 100. You guys can see all my artifacts are level 100. Whether I go one set or the other, it's going to be level 100 either way. Same with Cha. You guys can see both sets are all level 100. This is critical, guys, to gaining power, and you need to do this in order to maximize the amount of DPS, also the max amount of TP you gain. Again, remember, guys, the battle is against combat power, right? That's where all of this is going to come from, and it's very important that you guys have that mentality that as long as you can compete with combat power, the rest is going to be okay. Now, let's go further, right? We're going to go here, and I'll show you guys total power here for my accounts. Now, your weapons. Weapons should all be level 120. If you can push your weapons to A10, do it to your DPS, not for your supports. But if you have to do with supports to gain more power, push these to A10, push these to A10. The characters themselves don't have to be A10. It helps, but it doesn't have to be. But the weapons are easier to get up there because you get a lot of red tickets. So push these weapons as far as you can and get these leveled up, guys. It's super important that you get the weapons leveled up because every little bit does count. 244, right? Add that all up to 120. It's a pretty big deal, right? So that weapon should all be 120 and should all be level 120 for all 3 of your main supports. It's going to help SJW setup. It's going to help your hunter setup. The hunters are the hardest ones. Also, don't neglect your skills, guys. If you have the ability to get your skills up, right? Put a little bit of extra effort, get those tokens. That's another 269 right there. Super easy to do, and this will make a big difference in the combat power section. Very, very important, guys, to do that. Now, for Sun Jin Woo, same thing applies, guys. All of your skills here should be leveled up to 10 if you can. You guys can see my level 7 here. I have a couple other ones here that are only 18, 20, etc. I need to push those levels, including the ones with my skills. I need to push these as far as I possibly can to get as much power. Also, remember, mythics and legendary blessing stones will give you guys more power as well. Even if it's like, especially for the defensive ones, if it's one that you don't use and you can sacrifice for a legendary one, do it. Your weapon should also be 120. Your artifacts all need to be level 100. Again, same thing applies. 8-piece sets will give you more power, but for SJW, for the most part, many of you who are ready won't struggle with that. Also remember, in terms of stats, if you reduce intelligence and put more in strength and precision, you will get more power. So keep that in mind. Also, don't forget the gem trick. This is important. The gem trick is an important one, right? And that gem trick is simply putting percentages in the gems. It may take away some of the stats for some characters, but it will give you guys total stats for your shadow energy, which will then in turn increase your actual combat power. So your goal, guys, at the end of the day, here's my free to play, is to gain about close to 2 million as much as you possibly can. The closer you get to that number, the more likely you will be able to beat this content coming up. You guys can see my presets for my water team, for example. I'll just show you guys real quick where they're at. Where's my hunters? Here's my water team, right? You guys can see right there. I'm at 1.758. I want to aim for 1.9. Am I going to get there on time? I'm not sure. But at least with the new patch and the new things that are coming, we'll be a little bit closer than we ever were. So start saving all your gems, guys. All your percentage gems. Don't start replacing them. Start saving them for the next update where we are going to get gems. And we're also going to get amplification from mythical blessing stones as well. So don't forget that. Okay, that's a very important one. It's going to be coming up as well right here. And we don't know how it's going to affect the game, but it should affect it in some way or another. Get your wind teams ready, get your water teams ready, and get ready for hard mode YOGUMUNT, guys. That pretty much is it. Do all your story modes, do all your missions, do all your hunter archives, do all of your battlefield of trials, get all the resources you need, and don't forget to enchant every single piece of artifact from Simulation Gate. All right, guys, this is Payne. Thank you so much for watching. Hope this video helped. Leave a like, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.